My heartfelt welcome is for the directors, heads of various departments, senior professors, chief proctors, students of this university, and some from other departments also. The department is pleased to have you all here. Madam, the Department of Psychology has pioneered the road for academic and quality research standards since its inception in 2002. Our faculty is committed and conducts research in areas with clinical, health, social, organizational behavior to promote human welfare. Key point of the department has always been to find answers to the challenges society faces. Faculty and research scholars have been instrumental in helping to handle a wide range of mental health concerns. The department provides counseling services to the students and employees of the university on need basis. Our endeavor has been to impress upon the significance of positive mental health, and in this regard, two major projects were carried out by the department. One, mental health survey. It was a joint venture with Department of Psychiatry, GMC, and the other was sponsored by Women's Commission India, that was mental health survey of Kashmiri women. Mental health is more than the absence of disorders. It exists on a complex continuum which is experienced differently from one person to the other, with varying degrees of difficulty and distress. Mental health and well-being. Mental health and well-being, it's something that is considered as an important and significant component of the development. And Mental Health Day is an instrumental day for global mental health education, awareness and advocacy against social stigma. Much can be done to help build mental resilience from early age to help prevent mental disorders, distress and illnesses. Prevention begins with being aware of and understanding the early warnings and signs. Under the theme Mental Health Day, it's a global theme of 2022, the department is organizing a series of activities promoting positive mental health, which includes today's symposium, pamphlet distribution to the people from all walks of life, counseling to the hostlers of the university and children of different schools, and marathon, that is the most exciting part of it, that is Run for Mental Health Build Up. We need to prioritize our voices and prefer exaltation and growth of mental health development. This is the least and the most in itself we can do. Thank you.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Kashmir University, Professor Nilofer Hassan Khan, worthy Dean Research, University of Kashmir, Professor Irshad Ahmed Nawju Sahab. We have respected Registrar Sahab here, Dr. Nisar Ahmed Mir, faculty members from different departments, and worthy speakers, Dr. Muzaffar Sahab, Dr. Ejaz Sahab, respected scholars and students. Assalamu alaikum and good morning to all of you. At the outset, let me congratulate Head Department of Psychology and her team for deciding to organize various series of programs regarding mental health. So far as theme of World Mental Health Day 20 is concerned, it is make mental health and well-being for all a global priority, and the objectives of World Mental Health Day is to raise awareness of mental health issues around the world and to mobilize efforts in support of mental health. The day provides an opportunity for all stakeholders working on mental health issues to talk about their work and what more need to be done to make mental health care a reality for people worldwide. If we look at a scenario of mental health of the world, almost 1 billion people suffer from mental health issues out of about 8.3 billion people of the world population. It is 1:8, and as far as percentage is concerned, it is at least 12.5% of the population of the worldwide that is suffering one or other way by mental health issues. Looking towards the Indian scenario, it is something different. That is, situation is something grim. One of the surveys says that at least 20% of the population of India suffer by mental health issues. And this, what we call basically, these informations are, it is pre-COVID, that is before 2019. And at the same time, survey says that at least 25% has been increased. So far as mental health issues are concerned, there is 25% of increase after the COVID. Though COVID is one of the basically reasons, that is not the whole reason. We have a number of reasons for this, and we have to look, so far as if we look towards the mental health, how to deal with the mental health issues, we need to see what is the reason basically. But looking towards the reasons, we see that most of the reasons that we perhaps cannot do, because as individuals, we may have a little responsibility, but when we are affiliated with our institutions, we are affiliated with our society, we are affiliated with our states, or as global, we are affiliated with this, then responsibility comes to each and every individual. So in that context, as citizens or as human beings, we have a responsibility, no doubt, at government level or the other agencies that are basically looking towards mental health. We may not directly have influence, but as being a human being, we have a responsibility if we look towards these issues from our own perspective, that's from individual level. Looking towards the global level, that is, if we look towards the Indian scenario, that what is happening or what is basically what government is doing. No doubt, India is becoming now the 5th largest economy in the world, but if we look towards the mental health issues, the situation is worsening. It's not basically, we are not moving towards the positive aspects of mental health, rather the situation of the mental health issues is going worse and worse. But at the same time, we have a responsibility, as I told you in the beginning, that it does not mean that we lay all responsibility to institutions or to governments. As individuals, we have responsibility, or as individuals, when we are associated with some institutions, we have responsibilities. Because the main factor in every development or any issue is the human being. That is the human resource. So we are part of the human resource, and we have to act in certain situations in a different way. Looking towards the human resource, we as academicians, we as professionals, we as member of the society or a member of the community, we can do a lot for dealing with mental health issues. At community level, if we try to use our own resources, our own basically own ability to deal with this, there may be change. As we all know, in psychology, we talk about basically whole. No doubt that whole is better than part, but part is very important also. Unless part will not work, whole cannot basically give us what we expect from the whole. So as part, as individual level, we can do a lot. As academicians, at least we can provide at ground level or at community level awareness about, we can provide the counselors, give them hands training, and at the same time, those professionals we have here, revered speakers who are in the field, they know better the situation of Kashmir Valley so far as mental health is concerned, and they might have their own experience, and they might have their own views there how to deal with this, because mostly it is related with, if we see the literature, it is mostly related with that culturally dominated things plays the major role in dealing with the mental health issues. So they are here, and I expect that their experiences, sharing these experiences will help us a lot to go ahead. And at the same time, when we talk about the mental health day, generally what happens basically is a one day, but so far as message is concerned, message uses that it should continue. And Department of Psychology has taken the initiative that it's not only that we celebrate one day, that it will continue and have different series of programs that can help at least to reach the society, to reach the people by means of going schools, providing them counseling. And we have here well-established counseling cell in the department, and we have options that we refer to have good coordination with our psychiatry hospitals and experts who are basically dealing with them professionally. We refer them, and we have also here a health center that also refers people or the students or employees who are within, especially within the university, that they refer to psychology department. And after the psychological assessment, we try to at our best to refer them if we find that suitable, to refer them to the concerned professionals. That is the circle. We have basically a system developed here, and I'm sure that in next year when we are going to celebrate, there should be something in our hands, at least what we have done during the whole year. With these words, I again congratulate the department for taking this initiative. But again, it should be the collaborative way. One department cannot do it. Need to have collaboration with all the concerned stakeholders within the departments also, that within the university, we need to have collaboration with other departments who are working in this. And apart from the university, we need to have collaborations with the different institutions here who are working this, and those professionals who are working independently, and counselors who are working independently, NGOs who are working for this. We need to have a good connectivity with all these. Then there is possibility that something can be done so far as our society is concerned. With these words, I thank you all.
Honorable Vice Chancellor, Professor Nilufar Khanji, Dean Research, Professor Irshad Sahab, Dr. Humayna, Head, Department of Psychology, Dr. Tawseef, Dr. Muzaffar Sahab, our experts, Dr. Ijaz, our PRO, our Chief Proctor, our Coordinator Women's Studies, research scholars, students, and their friends. Assalamu alaikum and very good morning to all. It's a privilege to be with you today morning again and listening to the mental health issues. For me, when surfing the internet and were surfing few other articles, I could, at my own limited knowledge, I could get that we all have certain mental issues, if you don't mind. Because when I see that the mental issue, mental disorders, they may be anxiety disorders, they may be mood disorders, they may be schizophrenic disorders, and particularly in mental health, I was reading that the physical features or physical symptoms are interrupted sleep, restlessness, fatigue. So I hope that the experts who are doctors and who are involved in this field for a long time, probably there is again a thin line, probably I don't know much, but I personally again feel that there is a thin line between the mental disability and the mental disorder. And hope that we will, the day long, what Shaukat Sahab was talking about, that this one day should go for a long time, rather throughout the life. We need counseling and other things to keep our mental health safe and ready to face an issue, eventuality. To be honest, when we see at our home level also, we were talking about the awareness, about the symposiums, about the workshops, and where we could discuss and inculcate such knowledge about the mental health. But unfortunately, at our family level, we also have certain things to ponder into. For example, you are students, I'm an employee, We all remain busy during the day. Students remain in their own work. We also remain in their own work. And when, because of the new advent of IET and information technology and modern technology, we see that when we go to our homes, my wife says that please discuss something with your children also. And when I go to see my children, they are in their own rooms. They surf on their own laptops or computers. And I also get an opportunity to discuss with them. I also open my computer or my mobile to serve my own field. So I don't know why we have got so busy except the work. At our home, at our workplace, at every point we are all busy, and we get less time to see our own selves also. Then we have to see our own family, then we have to see our own surroundings, then we have to see our own friends and other groups. But life has become so busy that we don't even get time to see our own selves. When Shaukat Sahab was talking about the figures at national and in international level, we see that 1 billion out of 8 billion is a huge mass. I was early morning. I was reading something about it, and I saw that in the United States we see that it is a prosperous country where everything is available, particularly the health services, then the employment, and other facilities. But across the age, whether they are old or young or children, they are given good treatment in United States. But I was reading the figures that among the adults, 5.6, 14.5 million probably adults suffer from this severe mental disorders. So it is a talk of the most developed country in the world where the adults also face such issues. But the important point which we suffer because of those mental issues, we see that now an 8 billion population throughout the world is a huge population which can take the world to the new heights. But the issue of mental health definitely creates a hindrance in the development of any sort of, whether it is a social, whether it is the educational, or whether it is the economic affairs of the life. We see that the productive age group in any life, in a human being is it starts from the 20 to ends at the 45 or 50. And if the population faces mental issues in this age group, we see that there is a possibility of becoming an unproductive mouths on the earth and create, other than social and other issues, they create economic issues as well. At the University of Kashmir, we try to organize and such type of workshops. But to be honest, when last month only we had a awareness program in our IoT center, we had called us some clinical psychologist and also a doctor, where we had a brief awareness camp for an hour or two there. But in the post-night session, we asked the clinical psychologists and the other doctor to listen to our students, because the students in the IoT, that is an age group which is, they come up to the 12th only to study engineering. So we see that age group is probably vulnerable more to certain anxieties nowadays. So we requested the doctors and clinical psychologists to listen to the students in our IoT center, so that they can also be taught the lessons of life. Awareness, my point is that general awareness is a good thing, but the individual counseling is more important, because we see that the teenagers or the age group, particularly girls or boys, they are hesitant to speak about their issues, mental issues with their peer groups, with their family, with their friends. Maybe they may speak about them with the doctors. And it is always good to talk to a doctor, convey your problem, convey your issues, and he may be the best counselor, he may be the best doctor who will treat such type of disorders. Otherwise, I have already told you that we all suffer by one or the other way, we suffer from the mental health issues. And that we have done at the IoT level. I had requested my Honorable Vice Chancellor that we may extend such type of programs at our main campus also and our north and south campus also, where the students will be given an opportunity to talk to the clinical psychologist, to talk to a doctor about his or her issues, so that it can be caught early and he or she can be counseled at the early stage to cope up or to overcome such issues in their life.
When we look at the scenario that we have observed during the COVID pandemic, as well as the stress that we have faced because of the other conditions in the Valley of Kashmir as a whole, the status has changed a lot. And when we look at the young faces and look at the faces of adults, be it a student, be it a scholar, or be it a professional in terms of a government servant in both the educational schemes as well as non-educational institutions, status is almost same. The stress that we have faced because of isolation, because of being under literally house arrest for a long duration, and forced us to look for other options wherein we could relax without bothering about what we should consider or what we should take. We tried to be on our own as professionals. Sometimes I have seen, and sometimes when we tried to discuss the issues with parents, they used to tell us that their kids are not talking to them properly. Their kids try to remain isolated in their own rooms and chambers, and then despite calling them many a times, despite trying to discuss with them different issues, they never tried to respond. And as and when they responded, the response was not as positive as is expected by the parents. And in order to assess this during the recovery phase in the year 2021, we tried to assess what the status of the university students is. I allotted a couple of projects to my scholars to check, as well as to the students to check what the status of the students and scholars in different departments in different schools is, just to check what sort of mental depression or what sort of mental stress they have faced. And the results were alarming. And students revealed that, sir, when we try to discuss the issue with our colleagues from different departments, they never were open in terms of trying to reveal what they are facing or why they are isolated. Similarly, when I talked to my scholars, they also said that, sir, when we try to discuss the issues of isolation, of living under stressful conditions for a couple of years, majority of the scholars did not respond positively, reflecting that they had, under isolation, become depressed. Because we all know when we leave our homes, at home our mental status is different, and outside the home our mental status is altogether different. And we find that both these conditions are in turn facilitating our adaptability to the condition that we live in. A student, a scholar, a teacher is in turn trying to utilize his exposure to see what interactions can reveal to him or her. And if during that interaction there is no sort of stress of discussing each and every issue with the colleague, with the friend, with the partner, there is mental relaxation. But if the sharing is not as common or as easy as we expect, we find that majority of the interactions reveal absolutely nothing at the end. We return back and in the evening try to think what is the total day's outcome, and we find that outcome is almost zero. We try to interact with friends, we try to interact with scholars, teachers, other members. Nobody was very open-minded, nobody was relaxed to discuss the issues. That showed that the stress that we face during isolation, that the stress that is increasing with every passing day is altering our whole setup. What the attitude of the students was prior to 90s, prior to 2000, and what the status at present is, what the status of a teacher or another employee was, and once we compare these, we find that the stress has automatically altered the overall behavior of all. Be it a student, be it a scholar, we find that, or be it any member of a community of which we are a part, we find that the overall behavioral change is there. And that change is depicting that there is some sort of stress we are facing, and that stress has altered our whole behavior. And such things in turn are automatically having a negative impact on the profile of almost everyone. When we look at the students and scholars of say 20 years ago, what their profile was, how they were dedicated to attending classes, interacting with teachers, interacting with friends in the classroom or outside the classroom or in the labs, the status was altogether different. Now in the labs, we see that students remain isolated, scholars don't interact with each other, revealing that the stress has literally isolated them from each other. And if this continues, if this stress continues, I feel that overall profile of a student or a scholar, his overall potential will get altered. And that's what we see. We have interactions almost every week in this university just to facilitate groups of students sitting together and trying to interact. Scholars interact with teachers from different institutions. And that interaction in turn gives them a concept that what is known to them is not known to me. And if they interact without any hindrance, the results would be wonderful. I hope that during the 3 lectures that we have scheduled for today, the students and scholars as well as other faculty members will try to understand what can be the net outcome if we organize such functions on a regular basis. As was pointed out rightly by the head, that we should not look at this as one-day function. This should be a beginning of trying to organize such interactions so that we can be able to see how we can overcome these sort of stresses that we are facing. Psychological stress, depression, isolation, not interacting with people, remaining ice-cold in the groups together, but not even trying to interact what was commented by A and B, just remaining isolated, that will in turn have a negative aspect. It is better that listen to the speakers, listen to what the concept is they want to highlight, how we can get educated in terms of using their lectures or using their themes to overcome of the stress that we are facing. Hope and pray that this function will be a beginning of many more functions wherein all such discussions will reveal that we are trying to overcome whatever stresses we are facing.
Definitely we should have continuous programs of awareness and advocacy. I said it yesterday also in the function of home science, that awareness and advocacy are 2 important parameters which we have to campaign in order to remove the social stigma. Sometimes even the educated one, if they feel any mental distress, they don't talk about it because that social stigma is there. We are very reluctant to visit a psychiatrist and talk about our problems. I think the counseling cell of the university should bridge this gap, and we should definitely make aware our students if they have to talk about anything. As DSW, I know many instances where students would come to me and talk to me about various issues, and I would definitely by my own efforts try to help them and refer to them to the relevant quarters. As DSW, I have this experience, and it should be a continuous effort to have these programs. For example, our Directorate of Sports have programs pertaining to sports activities. That's for the physical and overall development, holistic development of our students. We know DSW conducts various programs that's pertaining to cultural debate or seminars. Similarly, I think Department of Psychology has a role to play to have continuous programs about awareness and advocacy of mental health. You can rope in other departments like Department of Law, Department of Social Work, Department of Sociology, Department of Home Science, and of course we need to take help from our experts in the medical field who can definitely assist us and guide us how we should go on about these programs. It's very important to have, the continuous programs of mental health. As many of the earlier speakers before me said, that we see that the system is changing. We can observe it even in our home, although we don't talk about it. I may be stressed, my family may be stressed, but we don't talk about it. A little recreation here and there, going here and there, it definitely changes your mental, stress. We had Professor Aparna Khanna from Lady Irwin yesterday, who is going to play different mental health games with the students. She is going to identify a certain group of students. In order to de-stress them, she will play the games of mental health. She did earlier also with the Institute of Home Science, and I think she will be here today also. So there are definitely different recreational games and all that which we can have for our students in order to de-stress. So my point over here is we should not just have this symposium, have our experts who will make all efforts to give a very wonderful speech, we make efforts to get the audience. Professor Irshad was already saying that lots of research is being conducted in the university. Even I am aware of it. Our Department of Education must be social work, sociology, home science. Your department, number of research on mental health of adolescents is being conducted. So I think these type of research, if you keep a group of students involved in it, they can tell you where this research is being conducted, and if you can make a plan by the recommendations of this research where we have to tackle the problem, I think we can save time and we can save human effort. So my point here is, again, there's no, whatever the administration has to do, we'll definitely do it. As I said, the way sports is important, the way the DSW activities are important. Similarly, the mental health of students is very important because mental health goes side by side with any activity. And we have seen, due to various reasons, the earlier speaker said, the COVID situation, and there are many, sometimes a personal problem, sometimes even the professional problem amongst our employees are there, sometimes any health problems, sometimes any situation where we are not able to cope up. We are so weak that we cannot cope up and we need counseling. So again, I would say, please try to have a roadmap, and whatever the administration has to do, we'll definitely do it. Give us a plan, and definitely I would like that our students should benefit from this particular symposium, and inshallah in future also we'll have such programs for our information. Let's see what our doctors in psychiatry are doing, and let's see what issues are related in our society, because definitely our main aim should be to reach to the community and to reach to the audience, to reach to our adolescents, which is very important. We see that drug addiction is at rise, and one of the main reason is the mental health of our adolescents, and where we have to seek the remedy. And we as researchers, we as students, our youth in the university have to tackle it, and tackle it very nicely. We have a responsibility in our society, and University of Kashmir being the institution of the society, we have a responsibility to see where we can help.